While most people are tucked up safely in their bed, across Northern Ireland, a highly trained team of over 130 volunteers are on constant alert, ready to search for a high-risk missing person. It could be a child, someone with mental health issues, an elderly person. It is someone who needs to be found.
Just need to take it easy, mate. It's not worth it.
I'd say it's him.
In these searches, minutes can be the difference between life and death.
No, he's gone.
But no matter the circumstances or how long it takes, their mission is simple: reunite the missing with their loved ones. Covering Northern Ireland from hill to high water, they are the police service's first port of call when someone is missing. We learn why these people do what they do. We see the emotions they experience. We meet the families they help. And we see the joy and agony they face as they carry out the search.
See, I've got a track here. It's coming across the way. My teams are coming down the way. So to me, this is a new track.
With over 35 years' experience, Sean is one of the most qualified search and rescue professionals in the UK.
You guys over there?
I always describe looking for missing persons like what we used to do when we were younger. We all played hide and seek. It took all the efforts of your 2 friends or 3 friends to find you if you were pretty good at it. And it reminds me very much of that. You can hide very well and very effectively if you don't want to be found, for whatever reason, in a very small area.
Roger, safety, so proceed.
Is that right?
Yep.
The highly trained search and rescue technicians, or SARTECs for short, are the backbone of the Community Rescue Service, also known as CRS.
Branch, we're in the north.
With units in 8 locations across Northern Ireland, the CRS members are volunteers who give up their spare time to help locate missing people.
Cover all that. Go find him.
Okay.
Right? 3, 2.
I'll send a text message out to all of the team, which is 32 at the minute on the active call-out list.
When you finish, because your area is so small, and
I've just learnt over the years to work out people's lives, and I sort of know where they're going to be, what they're doing. Most people I can predict their working hours. Other people are quite unpredictable and sort of just appear at random times and disappear at random times, but sort of all ends up working out well.
I recently got married, so yeah, that was hectic trying to balance organising a wedding. It didn't stop me in any way, shape or form, giving my free time up to go on call-outs or patrols or anything else that needed done within CRS.
you need to come across and cover everything in there.
Why do you do it? Get asked it all the time. Why do you do it? Do you get paid for it? No, you don't. You get rewarded, but not financially. Due to the amount of suicides that's happening in Northern Ireland, it's like an epidemic. Just thought maybe we can do something to help it out.
Missing male 75 last sight at Lisburn Road area at 4 o'clock.
Definitely proud to be a part of an organisation such as CRS. There's never any call out that is the same. So you're drilling and your mind starts going, what am I about to go into? In most cases, well, we hope that, it's a quick stand down, that the person has been found safe and well before we even get there, but in some cases, it's not.
The team respond to a new call-out. Michael Cullen, a well-known beatboxer from Belfast, has been reported missing. The search for Michael becomes the focus of a UK-wide social media campaign.
The sister of a man missing for nearly a fortnight has pleaded with people to search through dashcam footage they may have, which could help in the search to find him. Michael's sister Catherine says the family are struggling to cope.
We're not getting a lot of sleep. We're anxious. I mean, we think about him every second of every day, of every night. He's on our minds. We just want to know that he's safe. We want to know that he's okay, and we just want him to come home.
The team begin their search around Michael's last known location, his home. A 500-metre radius around the property is cleared. CCTV footage from a neighbouring street shows Michael walking towards Cave Hill. This leads Sean and the police to identify Cave Hill as an area of significant interest. It now becomes their sole focus.
This is an area that's very, very high interest to us, so we want to make sure we do it as well as we possibly can.
I was blown away. I mean, I have to be honest, I'd never heard of Community Rescue Service until Michael went missing. You know, I spent a lot of time on the searches with different members of the team, and hearing that they all work full time, and on top of that, dedicate their free time to going out on these searches for people, supporting families and helping them find their loved ones. You know, it's a very special, amazing job that they do.
Our priority is to try and get the 300 to 500 metres around the last known position of the missing person done as soon as possible. Once you know where he should be, you have to ask yourself the question, why are we not seeing him? That again refines the area down more. You have to put your really, really specialist search teams into the dense and tense areas that are very inaccessible, because logic tells you that's exactly where he should be, and that was the process we went through.
We were actually on an ongoing search on our way back home the day the call-out came through. So that was on Tuesday. That was on a Tuesday evening. And we got tasked with it, and every day since that we were out searching.
There's no way I'm getting through there. I'm not getting through here.
It's definitely not a hill. If you're walking the terrain that we have to walk, unfortunately we don't stick to paths.
Cave Hill, a lot of ground to cover. It's a nightmare.
You all right?
Yeah.
You can't get complacent. You can't have an attitude of, oh, here we go again. My mindset is, this is fresh, we're starting again. Put the effort in and try and keep the guys and myself motivated.
We're directly below police nose now, so what, another 200 metres?
The second last day of the search is probably the worst. We were going through pretty much impenetrable bushes and brambles, and you know, we're just standing there and there's a wall of trees and bush in front of you, and you just had to push through and push through and push through. Morale was a bit low, so whenever Sean was debriefing us, he was trying to, keep everyone's spirits up that we are going to find him, and he did make a comment that saying we didn't get him today, but we'll get him tomorrow. And little did we know, Sean was actually speaking the truth.
Every weekend, the CRS volunteers perform nightly patrols along Belfast's River Lagan.
Can I just get you guys to move away from the railings? Sorry.
The team act in both a preventative and responsive manner to ensure the safety of the public.
So yeah, just get home and calm down, get warmed up.
Most nights are quiet, but occasionally, the water rescue team is called into action.
The night in question that we had, the guy on the bridge, it was just normal patrol. There was nothing particular. We were sitting upriver watching something go on. We were just almost ready to stand down when the call came across the radio. Phil had called that somebody's acting strange here on the bridge.
Noticed a male. He wasn't acting like every normal person. Well, he was a bit irate, he was a bit angry, just so it kept an eye on it, radioed it through, he said, keeping tabs on this male. And then he just sort of stopped in the middle of the bridge.
I'm almost fucking bleeding.
He was on the phone as well, so he was as if he was having an argument with someone on the phone. He just kept edging towards the rails, and at that point he just had to try to engage with him, try to see if it was okay, just see if there's anything we can do to help. And he just wasn't having any of it. He was just like, no, get back, you know, I'm going to jump.
The distressed man has a history of mental health problems.
Control from Comstar 1, message over.
Comstar 1, control sent.
Control from Comstar 1, got eyes on a male.
I'm searching a bit suspiciously, over.
One of the Comstar teams contacted me in the control vehicle. They then called it in that the male escalated the incident and claimed on the wrong side of the rails. At that point, I called for the boat, who was further upstream. The police arrived. Police armed response officers then took over the negotiations to try and speak to the male.
Right big this fella.
We went straight down. The river was far too high to get a boat over. The guys were talking to him, police were talking to him, and we could hear him squealing, I'm going to jump, I'm going to jump. What we then decided to do was we'd get off and see if we offer any assistance anywhere else. We went up on the bridge, looked over, and the only way we were going to possibly do this is going to get a rescue swimmer in there. At that point, right, we're going to have to get geared up here. Dry suit on, PFD, helmets, the whole water rescue stuff is going to have to go on here. I stood in the bridge for a couple of minutes after they got fully clothed, thinking, right, well, the police were talking to him, it looked okay. Next thing, he just turned around and jumped.
No, he's gone. Where is he?
Grab the line!
Grab the line! I don't know. It's really hard to describe. Like, you just went. It's like there wasn't really a time to think about how you were feeling. It was just like, this guy's gone in the water. You have to go and do something to help.
I went over the bridge and I have to look. I mean, and it's dangerous. Sometimes the water levels are, the force coming down there, it's just going to be like a washing machine. There's no way you get in there because you're not coming back out safely.
When Paul did jump, that heart just sort of sunk, but obviously just ran straight to it and threw lines in for him. And obviously that was a bit of a heart-racing moment. Like, it's a feeling like you'd never really think you'd feel.
It took me a minute or two to get the hold of him. And once I did get the hold of him, control of him, then when I looked up, I'm 30, 40 feet from the bridge at this point, so absolutely no way anybody's going to organise a rescue from that bridge. The guys were throwing rings at me, they were throwing throw lines at me, but I couldn't catch them because I was holding on to the guy. The only way I was getting rescued out of that water that night was going to be another boat.
With the CRS boat cut off by the high tide, the only alternative is for the harbour pilot boat to respond from further down the river.
The worry and the stress and the panic that's going through my head because one of my own is now in that water, and there's very little we could do about it. And I have to rely on the training and the professionalism within himself to keep himself and that member of the public safe.
At this point, they turned up. They had a few lines to me and hooks and got us a connection. I was in the water with him somewhere in the vicinity of 20 minutes, and he fought the best part of that 20 minutes to get away from me.
They might take him out here or might take him there.
It's just not really until you sort of, everything calms down and you're back with everyone where you actually sort of realise what's actually happened. Like, obviously the adrenaline's kicking in and obviously heart's pounding, but it's not until you actually take a step back and you just go, wow.
A body has been found in the search for a missing man from North Belfast who hasn't been seen since the start of January. 33-year-old Michael Cullen was last in contact with family members at 2 p.m. on Tuesday the 9th of January. Today, the Community Rescue Service has confirmed that a body has been recovered during searches for him.
Sean sent me down the riverbank. Just as we were starting, I took the left-hand side and we were just talking about, you know, what to look out for and stuff like that. And it's just a wee overhanging push, and I'd stop talking, just be like, I just want to check behind here. And as soon as I peered my head round, there he was.
On day 22 of the search, Michael's body was finally found on a secluded section of Cave Hill. He had taken his own life.
I was sitting in the command vehicle when the phone call came in. That was a hard phone call to take. I did choke up a bit when that phone call came. I actually had to get out of the van and walk away from other people just to steady myself and remain professional to deliver that news.
Rock here, what's that?
It's strange in the way that you don't know this missing person, but at the end of it you feel like you did, because you learn that much about them. So once he was located, you nearly felt like there was a grieving process that you needed to go through, because you felt like you knew Michael.
There's a mixture of emotions. Initially, there's positivity, yes, we've got him. And then other feelings saying, yes, we've got him. He's not with us anymore. Then you get the next call out. And then it's the next person. And you just have to refocus and do your best to try and get there before anything. And if not, to bring them home.
CRS are using their specialist sonar equipment to help the police locate a 36-year-old male, last seen on CCTV entering the river.
Drop, you're in the water, son.
We operate that side scan sonar. The primary function we use it for is to locate a missing person, not above, not in the sides, underwater search. So when we're using a sonar, obviously we're searching for someone who's deceased.
Up one, Jared. Stop. That's perfect there. I'm getting that side now. That's the perfect distance, mate.
It's multi-beam sound, which forms a high-definition picture of the bottom of the area of water. Imagine like ploughing a field. We're ploughing up and down across to try and locate the body of the missing person. Much like an X-ray, you need to look at X-rays a lot to be able to see the fracture, and you have to look at sonar images a lot to be able to see the missing person.
We were there for a couple of days. On the Monday after St. Patrick's Day, we had another call out that another person had entered the water.
As the sonar search progresses, downstream from the initial CCTV position, reports come in of another young man entering the water during the night, in almost exactly the same location.
Compared to the last night, that fellow.
Not while we were actually on scene, but after we had gone home in the evening, another male, unfortunately, jumped into the water and took his own life. So then that meant that we had actually two people, males both, in the water in the same area within a relatively short period of time of each other.
Up a half, Jared. Stop.
Sean was out in the boat with a sonar, and he was doing passes up and down the leg.
For us, there's nothing there.
At the minute, anyway, we have to go and review it all, of course. But
every now and again, he was coming into the control van and reviewing the footage.
we've gone up and down about 20 times there. That's in along the wall on the left-hand side there.
And it was the first time I had ever seen the footage from the sonar. He was going through it and he had spotted an anomaly.
We've got an anomaly that may well just be stones, but this is what I'm looking at here. Could well be rock, but look at the way it stands out from the rest of it. So I'm just trying to say, what the hell is that?
He went back to a previous file on his laptop to see if it was there from a previous search, and it wasn't there. And Sean had says, that's him. He's looking at it going, there's no way that doesn't look like a body.
Here's the nice bit about it. If you measure the shadow, which is really important, what am I getting? 5'9". Well, I'm going to tell you this. I'd say it's him.
If Sean is right, and the object on the sonar scan is in fact a body, one question remains. Which of the missing men have they found? For Niall, having joined CRS just 6 months before the Michael Cullen search, it was his first experience of the recovery of a deceased person, something he often thinks about today.
Coming back here, it is a wee bit emotional. I think I need to just come back up and have a look at everything, just so I can sort of gather my thoughts and replay everything over my head and just let it all for a bit of closure, really. It's not as if it's annoying me that it's constantly on my mind, but I would say I would always change it to try and make it into a positive, that we'd done something good that day, we'd done something amazing for our family that day, and now they got the chance to put their brother, their son to rest, so how could it be a negative thing? It couldn't. That day that we found and recovered Michael was a sad but also a joyous day for his family.
I always considered Michael my best friend, and actually even now I would say maybe he's my soulmate. He was the first person that I would contact, you know, if I was in trouble, if I just wanted to chat on a daily basis, we'd call each other, and it was the same for him, you know. We're just incredibly close. He just loved hip-hop. Him and his friends, all of them would be rapping and beatboxing. They all taught themselves. Like Michael actually taught himself from YouTube, from just watching tutorials and videos himself. But he literally beatboxed in the house 24/7. It used to actually drive me nuts. Now all I wish is that I could hear him beatboxing. He was absolutely brilliant at it. Michael had a lot of beatboxing performances, and he actually cancelled some of them just in the weeks leading up to him going missing, which was he'd never done before. And I knew that things weren't great, you know, but you know, you think people are going to get through things and going to be okay, you know. There is that mentality, I think, especially in Northern Ireland, you know, the kind of hard man mentality. You know, men are quiet, they deal with their emotions and they deal with life's difficulties themselves. Everybody thought Michael was this, you know, this happy, successful person who was a great performer. You know, he listened and gave advice. That's what he's, you know, people have said to me time and time again, but nobody knew that he had his own issues and his own battle, because he just wanted to deal with all of those things by himself, you know. He didn't want to burden other people.
Having identified what he believes to be one of the two males who entered the river, Sean briefs the recovery divers on the probable location, and they prepare to make the dive.
It's all for you boys now to move back the way if you want.
Nearby, the two families of the missing men look on in desperation, not knowing if it is in fact their loved ones.
The divers were there on standby, and Sean had asked the divers to go down and check it out. This time the families of the two missing people were standing at the side, and the divers had come up and said, yeah, that's a body. I was looking at them, the two families going, they don't know if that's their missing person or what family this missing person belongs to. I just remember standing there thinking how hard it must be for each of the families.
We're going to get a script now when he comes up.
The divers prepare to recover the body from the river.
Stop at that.
The deceased man is recovered only a few feet from the river's wall. He is identified as the second male who entered the water.
I can't contemplate how hard it must have been for them. How hard, because of the search was going on before, and I'm sure it was real hard for them to find out that it wasn't their beloved one.
8 weeks later, the remains of the other young man are found. The strong currents had carried his body half a kilometre outside the original search area.
This is the third year that I've been saying I'm going to run the Hackney Half, and I've been saying it to Michael every year, and he's always giving me jip because I'm always finding an excuse or a reason to bail out of it. So this year I thought there's no more excuses. There's not a better cause than Community Rescue Service. So yeah, I didn't really have an option. I've got my shirt from Community Rescue Service. It says this one's for Cull on the back of it. He would definitely, if he could be here, he'd be cheering me on, he'd be waiting at the finish line for me. You know. Okay, like I've been up and down, and obviously like with the run coming up I've been thinking about Michael a lot, and I'm sure I'll see his face the whole time I'm running. So I've got, this is Moe Stone from Trella Beach, which is where Michael's buried and where we spent a lot of time as a family. So I've just been carrying that around with me, and then this is just a crystal from a very good friend, which is supposed to keep me balanced and give me good luck, hopefully today, because I'll need it. Obviously, you know, we've lost Michael and that's devastating, but I hope that, you know, that light has been shone on Community Rescue Service. It's great to know that people are signing up and choosing to volunteer with them and help them do such amazing work.
My main reason is to help people. It's something I've always liked doing. So my time is probably the best thing. Obviously, not financial, you know, I'm not one of them people that can give money, but I can certainly give my time.
You couldn't do this without the people that you work with. You're there to do the job and everything's serious and done by the book. But when you're out in training and stuff, you just have a laugh with each other. So you need that kind of relief. The crack's brilliant.
We'll continue to get positive results, and we will be there for those negative results as well to get people home. When a family member still comes up to you and thanks you for bringing their loved one home, you see a different side of human nature.
Keep your search coming, guys! There's never a search I go on that I would ever allow myself to think I'm not going to find them. Call it madness if you want, but I always believe I'm going to find them. And to be truthful, at this moment in time, I don't know anybody that we haven't found.
Go on. It went well. There's a few parts that were quite emotional, a bit overwhelmed, but especially when everybody's like shouting your name and giving you support during the run. But we stayed together, so I had my friends with me. We saw it through. I was thinking of Michael all the way. You know, I saw his face the whole time, and it got to the end, and you know, it's quite emotional. I did have a bit of a cry, but I'm glad I've done it finally after 3 years of saying I'm going to do it. I've kept my promise to him, and I've saw it through. Yes.
So this is Colin. This is a freestyle off from my mouth, 100% vocal. Check it out.